So when Gretsch first came back, they didn't know quite how the old guitars were made. They had the will there, but they didn't quite know what to do with it. I said, look, people want the old ones. Make them the way they did in the 50s. So I gave them my old guitars, and we tried to figure out how to get them back to the way they were. Because of the infrastructure of the guitar, the trestle bracing, we wanted to get to the bottom of that. Mike Lewis at Fender basically was, give me the darn thing. I have a friend who's a doctor, and they took it to the hospital, and they ran it through a CAT scan machine. There it is. Now we know what's in there, right? Without taking it apart. So that's how we made it. They're based off of Mike's 1959 6120. Some of it is what makes it so good. It's the mystery. When you get this in front of an amp, the whole top vibrates. And to where you move it in front of the amp is the kind of feedback you'll get. It's nothing you can put in a box. That's what's so great about it. Each one sounds different to how you play it, to where you hold it, to what amp you put through. They all sound very, very, very different. These are the hot rod models, the Brian Setzer hot rod models. It's just very smooth. It does it in a way that's very musical. It sounds like a pedal steel. Sounds like a Hawaiian guitar, right? And it's beautiful. It's very smooth the way they made them. Paul Bigsby invented it in 1948, and it's never changed. It's just the one that works the best. Another guy who was instrumental back in those days was Mike Eldred. He was another guy who really wanted to get these things right. It was a lot of people really chipping in who wanted to get these guitars right again. You know, it wasn't just me, it wasn't just Gretsch. It was a lot of people that chipped in. Richie Modica wanted to get these things right because, you know, he helped make them play well for me. So there's a lot of people that chipped in. T.V. Jones, he's the mad scientist. He takes these apart and he says, well, that magnet is made of an alloy that, you know, only weird scientists know. And he got it back to making them the way they did. I don't know about magnets or where you get them. You certainly don't buy them at the hardware store. I mean, Tom basically is taking these things apart. He spaced the magnets, these pole pieces that pick up the strings. They were kind of all over the place back in the 50s. They had the right idea then. He basically standardized it and got these things working the way they should. What'll it be, baby doll? What'll it be? Come and take a ride on a rock. I mean, just out of the box, it plays great. You don't need to do anything. This is a Brian Setzer Nashville guitar. So this is based on a 6120. It has the same specs as a 6120 guitar. It's perfect all the way up. The intonation, it just speaks all over the neck. See, on a lot of the old ones, you get up here and you don't have anything. It just goes plug, or it's out of tune. They've gotten to the point now where they just haven't figured out, you know? The hot rod only has a volume. It doesn't have any tones, right? So it's just one circuit. It doesn't have any binding on the F-holes. Okay, it's just little stuff, you know, but it adds up. So on this guitar, that would make it a little more high-end. So it has more circuitry, different binding. This has got my pickups in it that me and Tom came up with. They're a little more mid-rangey, I think, which I like. They kind of speak out a little better. This has a conical radius. This starts out at 9.5 and flattens out to 12. What that does is it makes it easier to make chord shapes, but when you're bending strings, it doesn't fret out. Listen. Hear how smooth that is? That's because if you had all one radius, it gets so round up here, it goes doink, it frets out. But if it's too flat, like on the old ones, your hand gets kind of cramped if you're playing a lot of chords. So what Tom did was he came up with this idea of a conical radius. Starts like that, 9.5, and it flattens out as you go up the neck. It's genius shit that only Tom does. I don't know what he's talking about. Sounds amazing. That's all I can say. I used it on the entire Gotta Have the Rumble album. I use this on half of my new album. This is a Gretsch Duo Jet, and I'm still trying to figure out the year because I think it's a bit of a Frankenstein. This is, it's a 57 Gretsch Duo Jet. It's the only one that they made in blue sparkle. So you could buy the silver jet, right, which is what they made. These were drum wraps in the 50s. Gretsch made silver jets. They're sparkle jets as well, they call them, and they came in silver. Some guy said, I want a blue one. Oh, well, I guess we could do one. But he's the only one that ever asked. He had to wait a year. And then they gave him a blue one. And Gretsch had a lifetime warranty. So they said, well, we've changed the neck. We'll give you a new neck. So the body's from 57. The neck is from 58. And it's the only one in blue. So we're going to try and copy this because it sounds so good. I used it on half of my new album. It has a very distinct sound. We've upgraded the pickups because the pickups, TV Jones, did his mad scientist stuff with whatever he does to these pickups. I don't even know what he does. He changes the pieces, the magnets. Anyway, it sounds incredible. Is all we have to know. Us mere mortals. A girl wearing nothing but a smile and towel on the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. Rolling down the highway in my Jimmy hauling freight from Chicago to St. Louis. Lord, I see her every day. That sounds phenomenal. Phenomenal.